And we are live. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the virtual AP Leadership Academy, week 45. Come on in. We got Andrea Jackson in the building. Lorianne Beasley's in the building. I can't make that. Elar Teacher 84, I think it said, in the building. Come on in. Who we got here? Janine Wilkins out in Alaska in the building. Demetrius Scott's here checking in. M. Suiso, Stephanie Gooden, Jennifer Gates, A. Gates. Oh man, the names are going fast. John Herrick, Cynthia Farmer, Chandra Bell. I'm missing a lot. Michael Benton, Otis Kitchen, Amanda Michael, Josh Thielen, Debbie Piles. I think I said Otis Kitchen, Principal Kitchen. D. Walker is in the building. Oh man, the name, they going so fast I can't keep up, folks. Keep it coming though. Keep it coming. Jeff Leslie's in the building. Rodney Williams, I see you. Kathy, missed it. It went so fast. Dr. Lottie Watson is in the building. Who else we got here? Lita, I missed it. Lily Lanier, Superintendent Finch, faithful. Kimberly George is in the building. Will is in the building. Marquise Rain is in the building. Rodney Richardson, I see you. TB Summers, I see you. Heather Blow, I think it is. I see you. Jerica Roberts. Jody Camp Chandler's in the building. Hit that share button as you come in, folks. Let them know, man, there's people that need this one. Terry Williams, well, there's folks that need all 45 weeks, but you know, this one is this one is special for me. Chrissy Mobley, the wife, my wife, the queen, Kimberly Broughton Kafele is in the building. Tony McClenny's in the building. Raquel Quall is in the building. What we got? Dr. Monica Adams in the building. My man Golfar WT is in the building. Sharice Boswell Anderson is here. AQ is here. Monique Harrell Watford is in the building. Ohio Girl Jones checking in. Dr. Greg Baker is here. Heather Lubking Brown is in the building. Oh, man, the names are going fast. Dr. Sheikah Houston doing big things. Look here, y'all. Sheikah Houston, go to her page. She got a lot of stuff, y'all. She's got the podcast. She's got the new book. She got it all out there. She got the consulting going on. So go to Sheikah Houston's page and check out her work. Right, we got Ato Bakari in the building. Hotep, he's here. We got I gotta teach y'all that word sometime. You know, that was a staple with my leadership. Hotep. We'll talk about it at some point. We got Dr. Marcus Jackson in the building. Kimberly Wilson Daniel is in the building, keeping those copious notes. Man, a lot of y'all, you know, like I know people thank me and all that, but I'm so appreciative when I read on Twitter because y'all be going crazy thanking Kimberly Wilson Daniel, and that's a good thing because man, we need that, you know, because I don't have anything documented, and I've already told you why. Those of you who are new to me, you'll hear why at another time. Tamara Small is in the building. LaWanda Smith is in the building. Katie Hamel is in the building from Albuquerque. We got Rashard Davis checking in from Las Vegas. LaWanda, oh, I missed it. LaWanda Smith is in the building. Yes, sir. Brian Megan Chapman is checking in. Come on in here. We got Deneen F. from Cincinnati Public Schools checking in. Tell the rest of the Cincinnati crew, that's one of my favorite audiences. Tell the rest of Cincinnati to check on in here. I had a great time. I spent the whole week out there in Cincinnati before the pandemic. Teacher Sandra 73 is in the building. RJ Jackson, good morning. AJ Cunningham, good morning in the building. Shakitha Jeffries is in the building. Angela Tarango Rosales, Maria Woods, and I'm looking at that clock, and there's Principal Josh Tovar, my man. My man knows how to use that social media too. If you want to know how to, look here, if you want to know how to use social media to enhance the public relations of your school, but also just to enhance the internal self-esteem of a building, Josh Tovar is your guy. Not me. I'm not your guy. Josh Tovar. If you want to get your message out there, I'm talking about your school message, and you want people to know what's happening in your school, and you want the folks in the school feeling good about being in that school, Principal Josh Tovar is your guy. I've seen nobody here. I want you to hear me. I've seen nobody on the planet that promotes a school the way Josh Tovar promotes his school. That's your guy. Just go to his page, send him a friend request, and then build a relationship with him, right? And then he's on Twitter. I forget the handle. He may use his name, Josh Tovar. I'm not sure. But, we ain't nobody hard to find, right? Not in 2021. Ain't nobody hard to find. So just find him, right? He's somewhere. Merlina Valentine is in the building. She just finished doing an interview. I watched the whole thing with my man Fitch LaRue, and now she checked in over here, right? So go to her page and check her out. Look, y'all, it's 11:01. I got to stop this stuff. It's 11:01. It's time to get started. So I got to start it the way I always do. So, hey, everybody, good morning. Greetings. Welcome to the virtual AP Leadership Academy, week 45. And I don't know about you. I can't speak for you. I can only speak for me, but I think I kind of know because a lot of you check in on a regular, so I kind of know. But let me speak for me for a minute. I just want to let you know how I feel this morning. I'm on fire. Y'all didn't hear me. You didn't hear me. I got to tell you again because somebody missed that. See, the way I feel right now, I'm on fire. I'm blazing. And if there's somebody out there or someone in the universe, and I can't stand Kafele because he brings too much energy, he acts like the world doesn't have challenges, and he's always positive, then you're not meant for me. Because see, regardless of what's happening out there, and I'm privy to what's happening out there, because I keep up with what's happening out there. It's why I do this work in terms of what's happening out there. But I'm not going to let what's happening out there to extinguish my fire. Not going to let it happen, folks. Not going to let it douse my flame. I don't care what's happening out here. I'm going to stay positive because I got my own work to do. See, I got my own thing I got to do. And in terms of my effectiveness, my flames, my fire, my energy, my excitement, my enthusiasm matter. Enough said. Hey, y'all, hit that share button. Hit that retweet button. Let them know the fireman is in the building, man. Right? Let them know we got a lot. We talking about getting this job today. I switched gears. So I got my motivational message first. And I'm going to keep that consistent with the message of the day. My motivational message, envisioning landing a principalship. Let me say that again. Envisioning landing a principalship. Here's what I'm saying. I know it's some frustrated people on here. I know that. I know it's some people that checked in this morning and you've been interviewing and you haven't gotten the job. I know you out there. That's why you checked in this morning. I know that there are people out here who have been sending out resumes and nobody's responding. I know. That's why you checked in this morning. I know that there's some frustrated people who are on the precipice of giving up on your dream. I know. That's why you checked in this morning. You said, I hope this man can give me something because my dream is diminishing and I'm getting ready to look and see what else I can do. Well, hold up. That's why I'm glad you checked in. Because I'm saying first and foremost, you got to envision. You got to see it, y'all. You got to see the principalship. You got to see yourself landing the position. You see, like right while you're sitting there right now watching me, you got to see you already in it. See, you can't like embark on a journey and you don't see yourself already at the destination, right? You got to see yourself in the seat. Like this, the principal seat I'm sitting in. You got to see yourself in it, right? So it's not just the process. The process matters. That's what we're going to talk about. But it's also the envisioning of you already there. See, once you can envision it, and you're earnest about the vision. Like I don't mean like you just doing a little play daydreaming. I don't mean that. I mean like you envisioned it and you locked it in to the point that you own it, you embraced it, you claimed it. It's yours here and here, right? Now that's half the battle. There are people in the world that cannot lock it in, the vision, because they're too pessimistic about themselves. I'm saying you got to lock that in. So the vision, but I got a part two with this message, this motivational message before we get started. You got to envision your success. See, not just envisioning getting the position. There's a lot of people that get the position and they don't last, or a lot of people that get the position and they're ineffective. You got to envision landing the position, but then you envision high levels of success. High level, because if you're successful, the students are successful. And if you are unsuccessful, the students are unsuccessful. See, it's a symbiotic relationship, and you've got to make sure that you see that, right? So enough there. Let me give you my quick word of the week. I'm keeping it consistent with today's message. My word of the week is preparation. Oh, man. Well, that's like the most obvious word, preparation. And the question is, are you prepared, right? Are you going through the process of preparation? In this case, for the interview, you can't walk into the interview unprepared. One might ask, but I don't know what questions they're going to ask. That's okay. You better anticipate them, but that's why we're here today. So preparation is my word of the day. Before I get to this important message, number one, you're at the Virtual Assistant Principal Leadership Academy. This is the book that accompanies it, The Assistant Principal 50, written by yours truly, right? So make sure if you don't have a copy yet, get a copy, because I will be transitioning back into this content, but I've had a need to deviate, still keeping it assistant principal, but I haven't been using this particular content. But then also the Aspiring Principal 50 with interview techniques in this book. So make sure you get your hands on this, the Principal 50. And is my school a better school because I lead it? If you got interviews coming up, I'm saying to you, I wish I had 4 hands. You need all 4 of these books in your possession, right? We'll talk about them again later because I got a lot to cover right now. So let's get into it. Here we are. I need you guys to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Virtual AP Leadership Academy, and I need you to like and follow my Facebook page entitled Virtual AP Leadership Academy. So I know a lot of you are on my regular, my personal page, but I want you also to go to my assistant principal page, right? Virtual AP Leadership Academy, and this is viewed on that page as well. So we're on 4 platforms: Principal Gafele at Facebook, Virtual AP Leadership Academy at Facebook, Virtual AP Leadership Academy on YouTube, and Principal Gafele on Twitter. So hit the retweet, hit the share button, and I think I got all my advertisements out the way. When I say share, I don't mean just share, but some of you belong to educator groups, right? So the Principal Leadership Group, the Principals, Supervisors, Directors Group, the Principals Desk Group, Black Educators Rock Group, and so many other groups. Hit them groups up. Because there's some frustrated folks out there that don't realize the reason that they can't get the job is because they don't know how to interview, period. Right? It's not that they don't have the potential and the skill set, but they don't know how to interview. So with that said, we got Kimberly Wilson Daniel out there taking notes. I saw her on here, so I know she's here. To all of you, I hope you plan to be with me for a while. I got 5 pages of notes. I got 25 questions. and I got a whole lot of indicators within the 25. So I got a lot. Stay with me, right? Stay with. Don't watch this late. I mean, watch it later. I want you to watch it over and over. Don't get me wrong, but I want you to get this live energy, right? So if I got to go 2 hours, I'll go 2. If I can cut it short, I tried to this morning in terms of kind of confining it or just kind of slicing it down a little bit, but we'll see. So here we go. The topic today, the principal interview. Let's break it down. The principal interview. Let's break it down. And I wrote a note here that says this is a content related video. This is for virtual considerations in terms of just the technicality to being effective on a screen. The virtual, that's on my channel. Virtual AP Leadership Academy. I'm not going to get into that here. Here I'm talking content. But if you want to make sure that you use the technology correctly, then go to my channel on YouTube, Virtual AP Leadership Academy, and scroll back. Those of you that could be looking for the previous principal interviews I did, I deleted them all. The only one I have on there is the 2 AP interviews. But the principal interviews, I deleted them because I'm replacing them with this one video, right? So don't look for those. They're gone. And then that's it. So here we go. Question number 1. Get your notes out, y'all. Get your pen out. Get your notepad. Get your phone. Get your tablet. Get your computer. Take copious notes on top of what Kim Wilson Daniel takes. Right. Question 1 out of 25. Am I ready for this interview? Right. I'm into it. I did all that preliminary. We're here now. Oh yeah. Detroit Stars, Negro Leagues. Got it. Somebody just reminded me. Negro Leagues, 101st anniversary. I honor the Negro Leagues every Saturday morning. I wear these shirts with the utmost pride. Detroit Stars. Number 1, am I ready for this interview? Are you ready? You got an interview coming up. Now, some of you don't have one coming up right now, but that's okay. This is still relevant for you because if you aspire to become principal, there will be an interview on the horizon. There will be an interview coming up. So whenever that's approaching, I'm still asking the question, are you prepared? Right? Am I ready for this interview? Now, one of the things I failed to say, and I think it's imperative that I say it, I'm not giving you interview questions. That would be reckless on my part to anticipate what some superintendent or assistant superintendent or team of people would ask you. Nobody knows that. I'm telling you from my years of experience, I can anticipate what will be asked. So I'm not giving you the questions. I'm giving you 25 thoughts to consider. I'm giving you 25 things to consider, and I promise you, you need all 25. I've probably oversold. I'm giving you a whole lot. People ask me, why are you giving all this free content? Because to whom much is given, much is required. That's why, right? So am I ready for this interview? In other words, I broke this down into 8 parts. Number 1, are you fully prepared? What I mean by fully prepared, I'm going to talk about in question number 2. But for now, are you fully prepared for this interview? That's what I'm asking you. Have you done everything you need to do relative to preparation? What that means, that's the next 24 questions. So have you done everything you need to do to be able to walk into this interview and land the position? Number 2, are you mentally prepared for the interview? In other words, are you bringing the belief, the confidence that I'm the person for this job, that I'm the one of the 1,000 candidates out there, of the hundreds of candidates out there, I'm the one that's going to be the difference maker? Am I mentally prepared? And see, one of the ways of just mentally preparing is those affirmations. You might be sitting in the lobby, right? Sitting in the waiting room, waiting to be called into the superintendent's office for your interview. You might want to throw some affirmations at yourself that I'm qualified. I'm ready. I'm skilled. I'm talented, right? I have purpose. I'm on a mission. I have vision. I have extraordinary skills, right, and ability, right, whatever. But you want to remind yourself, because mentally you want to walk in there. You know, I think about the athlete just in the locker room getting ready. Some people, you know, they kind of calm and laid back with it. Magic Johnson used to sit there and listen to Luther Vandross to prepare for these big games, right? So that worked for him. Others, they need something a little bit more upbeat. So whatever it is, whatever works best for you. I got a good friend of mine, Tommy Mabry, that laughs at me every time he sees me because I let him in on a secret one day. I had, you know, like big keynotes. A lot of time I pop in some Michael Jackson, right? And that gets me right. You know, when it's like a big keynote, thousands in the audience, and I listen to Mike and I get right. And then I'm ready to go out there like, bam, right? So whatever works for you. But I'm saying you got to make sure that you are mentally ready to walk into the room. You don't know what's coming at you. So you got to be mentally prepared. So reminding yourself of who you are, because you could sit in that space and get real anxious, get real apprehensive, and now psych yourself out of being effective. And then what happens? You guys write me a lot of you write me, Principal Kafele, I didn't bring my best me. I got into the interview and I froze up. I get those emails. I read them. I get those messages and DMs. I read them. I froze up, Principal Kafele. Could you help me out with not doing that again? I'm saying you got to be mentally prepared before you walk in there. You probably weren't mentally prepared. So you went in there just empty, an empty slate, and then you just walked in there waiting for them to call your name. No, you go in there. You know how you exercise your body? You exercise your muscles. You know, you got the dumbbell, boom, boom, boom. Well, you got to exercise your mind. See, people don't think about that like that. They think about the exercising of the body. But I'm saying you got to exercise the mind, right? So that's them affirmations, reminding yourself of your greatness. You got to do that. So are you mentally prepared? Man, I feel y'all better get that cup of coffee, somebody, because like I feel myself getting ready to go like maybe 3 hours, right? I got so much content, man. You're gonna have to hang with me on this one. Right. So Stephanie Roth just said you got to have your head in the game. See, that's that mental preparation. But then I'm coupling that with next. And I'm still on number one. Are you emotionally prepared? See, are you emotionally prepared? Because if you are, you know, you sweating up a storm, you jittery, you know, all that kind of thing. And like, oh my God, y'all, you know, the butterflies are good. That's not a problem. You know, the best public speaker will still have butterflies, right? So that's not an issue, but you don't want butterflies to transition into like anxiety, right? Nervousness, like uncertainty. No, you can't go in there with that. Butterflies are all right, but you got to be able to manage your emotions before you walk into the interview that I'm okay. Like, let me show you the best way. Here you go. I'm gonna demonstrate it. So just do one of them. Do that as many times as you need to. Just bring it down. But keep your adrenaline pumping, right? So you want your adrenaline to like my adrenaline is off the charts right now, right? It always is on these Saturday broadcasts. It's off the charts, man. Right. So, but you want to be able to manage that too. Because see, if your adrenaline goes out of control, then you go in the interview like, right. And now they're like, oh, whoa, he too hype, right? So you got to strike that balance. Right. So bring it down, but keep it up. You see me? See what I mean? So you got to strike the balance in between. Right. So just be mindful of your emotions, coupled with how you mentally prepare. And then so next, your attitude. See, we're talking about are you ready for this interview? How's your attitude? Because we all got to do an attitude check. We all got to do an attitude check. So as you check your attitude, is your attitude ready? Are you bringing the level of confidence that you need to bring to that interview? Right? See, I like before I come on do the broadcast and all the ones I do during the week for the clients, I check my attitude. I got to, because some of those presentations they can be challenging because they use a platform where you can't see the chat nor the people. All you see is your PowerPoint. Those are stress. Those are downright stressful because I can't feel the energy of the people. Like, y'all, you writing. I see what you're writing, and it tells me if I'm on point or not. But when I'm sitting here and it's all I see is my PowerPoint, and that happens when they use certain platforms, Microsoft Teams and some of the others. It's like, man, I don't know if I'm being received because I can't see their words. I can't see their pictures, their photos. I mean, their images. I can't see anything. All I see is the screen I created. I can't even see me. That's a tough one. See, so I got to check my attitude first to say, okay, despite the fact I can't see them, I know that I'm ready. I know I'm going to be on point regardless, and I'm going to make this happen. See, that's you checking your attitude, making sure you're bringing the right attitude to this interview, right? Let's keep moving. Your attire. Oh, man. Those of you that saw the previous videos I made back in 2017, you know I go heavy on this thing. Attire and appearance, right? I'm not going to go too heavy because I got 24 more questions to go, but I'm going to say this. This interview, this is about you landing the position, right? This not about like whatever your agenda is, right? This is about you landing the position. You go in there looking like how you would expect them to, how you would perceive that they would expect you to look, right? If you got to buy the new outfit, then go and do that, you know, whatever it is. But you want to go in there looking like hey, you want to go in there looking like the principal, not looking like the interviewee. You want to walk in there looking like you are the principal of that building, right? So am I ready for this interview? So your attire and your appearance. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna be the last one to beat up on tattoos because it's so many people that have them. But listen here. I don't know how the superintendent. I don't know how he's gonna perceive that. I don't know. So if I'm going in there, my arm's gonna be covered up because I don't want to lose the job because of a cultural disconnect, right? Or the superintendent misinterpreting what he or she sees on my arm and got some stereotype of pop culture, you know, stuff in his head, her head, and now I lose the job because you misunderstood. So I'm just that's for my private life, right? I don't need to be public in this interview and you trying to figure out what the messages are on my arm. And I'm gonna leave that right there. You know, the rest of it's just common sense, right? Am I discouraging you from getting a tattoo? Nope, not at all. I'm just telling you, you got to get into the head of the person that's interviewing you. That's all I'm saying. Right. So lastly, on this number one, your years of previous experience. This is a big one. And this is the one I get a lot of emails on. Principal Kafele, how many years you think I should be an assistant principal before I'm qualified to be a principal? Well, you know, I got this. I look at two different categories. First, I look at the teacher, and I just have this hard and fast rule for me, rule of thumb, that if you're going to be a school administrator coming out of the classroom, I can't even respect if you taught less than 5 years successfully at a high level, not just taught, but successfully at a high level. I'm saying minimally 5 years. Now that number is arbitrary. I don't know where I pulled it from. I'm just saying 5 years of effective high level teaching. But as a principal, I don't have that same rule. As a principal, I say when you feel you're ready, right? Because every AP experience is different. So you could be in a school where you're learning nothing about transitioning to the principalship, whereas you could be in another school where you got a principal that's giving you everything. They poured everything into you and you are ready, but it took more time for them to pour it into you. So I don't put a timeline on that. I say to all folks, I say, look, when you feel like you're ready to leave the school, go for it. When they interview you, they will see whether or not, they will gauge, determine, discern whether or not you are in fact ready. That'll come through in the interview. So in terms of you making a decision, I'm ready to go to that next level. I say when you feel it. Do at least a year of an AP though. But I'm saying once you feel it. And I guess I say that because that's all I did was a year, right? And then went on to the principalship. So when you feel it in your soul that you're ready, then go ahead and interview. Go ahead and attempt the interview because you got to get the interview. You got to land the interview. But if you're not ready, they'll know. Just how you answer questions, they will know if you need to go back into that assistant role for a little bit longer, right? So That's a personal decision. Spent all that time on, I did number one. It's 11:25. I got 24 to go. 24 more to go. Y'all with me? Y'all with me? And see, I know it's easy to go and watch the video later, but I'm going to say to you, you stay with me live, y'all. I'm going to try to do this quick. Number two, what do I know about the school I'm interviewing for? See, when I talked about the preparation in one, I'm talking about the preparation in terms of you, your mental, emotionally, etc. But now let's go deeper. What do I know about the school I'm interviewing for? Before I even go into this, let me just go right to the end of it. Let me say this. If you walk into that school, I appreciate y'all. Y'all said y'all here. There you go. There you go. Maybe I could slow down a little bit then, because you hear me like stuttering, going fast. Listen, if you go to that interview, and I know that all interviews, you're not going to know what school. But if they don't tell you which, matter of fact, if they don't, I was going to say this for later, but if they don't tell you which school, then learn that district. But let me come back to that. Let's do the hypothetical right now that you do know the school you're interviewing for. Let's keep it right there for a minute. You know the school you're interviewing for. If you go into that interview and it becomes evident and apparent by within the first few minutes that you do not know that school, that you can talk intelligently about leadership, but you do not know the school you're interviewing for, I'm gonna tell you right now. I told you before. Matter of fact, maybe I didn't mention this to you. When I put these 25 questions together, I wrote them in a superintendent's mindset. I pretended I was a superintendent. And I said, if I'm interviewing somebody, what am I looking for of them in an interview? Am I looking for everything imaginable? No. I'm not asking them everything that I could ask them. That's volumes of textbooks and binders and so forth. But what are those core areas that I must ask, that I must know, right? And I came up with this list of 25. So here where I say, what do I know about the school? If you come into my interview, I'm the superintendent of schools. You come into my interview and I ask you a few questions about this school. And you're saying to me something like, I don't know, I'm gonna have to research it, or I will get back to it, or I didn't think you were gonna ask me something like that. Let me tell you something, that interview is gonna be very short. Because just because you took the time to come out here, I'll throw a couple of questions at you just to justify your presence here. But then after that, I'm gonna look at my watch. Okay, I'll spend maybe 2-3 more minutes with him, and then I'm going to ease out of this one and get to the next one. I'm not spending time with you because you did not see fit to do your homework. That's like coming to school as a student and you didn't do your homework. You came to school unprepared. Of course, the teacher is a little upset. The student came to school unprepared, didn't do the homework that was assigned. Well, I'm saying the same thing to you. You came to this interview. You want to work for me. You want to work for this district. You want to work for this staff. You want to work for these students in terms of servant leadership. And you didn't take the time to do the homework and learn the school. I don't need you. Because see, I'm going to teach you a lot as the superintendent, but I'm not going to hold your hand. So some of you might be going to these interviews and then you writing me saying, I didn't get the job. Well, maybe it was because you went into the interview unprepared. You weren't ready for the interview. That's why the first question read, am I ready? And the second question says, what do I know about the school I'm interviewing for? So I broke this down. Let's go. I got about 10 indicators on this one. Let's go. I told you, look, this virtual AP Leadership Academy, this is not a game with me. I concluded 2 years ago. I said the assistant principalship is the most misunderstood and underutilized position in education. I'm on a one-man crusade to change that reality, which includes how an assistant principal interviews for a principalship. This ain't no game. I get up in the morning doing this for free. And I'm preparing these notes all week for free. Right? So because this is serious with me. So with that said, You must do your research. So when I say that, and I'm calling that for Kim Wilson Daniel, that's letter A under number 2. You must do your research. So when I say research, let me go through these 10. I think it's 10. Number 1, achievement levels and trends. Let me tell you something. You come in the interview with me, you want to be a principal of this particular school, and you don't know the achievement levels in this school. You don't know the trends relative to achievement in this school. I don't need you. I don't need you. Right? If somebody said ouch, you just say ouch, right? I don't need you. You have to know the achievement data. You have to know it. You got to recite it as if you were already the principal in that building. You got to do your research. Now, if somebody is on this call and you put in this thread, where do I find that data? I'm not going to respond to you. I'm not going to respond. But in my thinking, I'm going to say, he ain't ready. Don't ask me where to find that data, because I am not going to tell you. That's something you should already know. Right? So you have to know achievement levels, achievement data, achievement trends. They rising? They declining? Are they just kind of leveling off? I mean, what have they done over the past 10 years? Because your leadership has to impact that one way or the other. Next, graduation rates if it's a high school. So current graduation rates and the trends. Is this a school where graduation has been improving? Is this a school where graduation rates are decreasing? Is this a school that is level at a high level at a mid-range level at a very low level? What is it? I expect you to know that. And if I'm superintendent of schools and I'm sitting here interviewing you to become one of my soldiers, because that's what the principal is to the superintendent, a foot soldier. I will say this until the day I can't speak anymore. As a superintendent, which I'm not, but as a superintendent, the most important person in the district for me, outside of the obvious, meaning the children, but the most important person in the district for me is the principal. The principal. I have to know that I've got a leader in that school who is taking care of business, that I don't have to micromanage that school, because I've got somebody in there that is leading at a high level, taking care of business, and that has to come across in that interview. So we talk now graduation rates. What's happening? Is it high? Is it mid-range? Is it low? And what are the trends? And I'm not even going to talk about, well, I guess I could throw it in there, although it was coming later. What will you do to increase them? Right? I can say the same with the achievement, but I'm going to get to that later. But I'll just throw it in here now. What will you do to increase the achievement levels? But I'm going to talk about that later. Right now, I'm just on your research. Next, the demographics of the student body. Oh, man. You going in there and I'm superintendent. Hey, candidate, talk to me about my demographics, particularly along racial socioeconomic lines. Talk to me about what you know. And you sit there, I'm not really sure. Or I might be specific. What percentage of what talk to me about what your knowledge of the percentage of African American students here, the percentage of Latinx students here, etc. I think like you got the majority are Black, if I recall correctly. Man, we done. Now, every superintendent may not feel that way. Superintendent Finch, you feel free to jump in here. But for me, I'm done. You don't know us. But it's not so much that you don't know us. You didn't care to find out about us. You just wanted the job. But you didn't want to do your homework. You didn't want to learn who we are. So therefore, it's like you slapped me in the face. You disrespected me because you didn't care to find out, to do the homework, to roll up your sleeves and determine who are we? What are we comprised of as a district? That matters, right? So the demographics of the student body, racial, socioeconomic, but here's the big one. Is it changing? Oh, If I could quantify it, I would say maybe 80% of the clients that call me say they have a change. Here's what they say. We have a changing demographic. The student body is changing, is shifting, but the teachers have not shifted with it. I hear that a zillion times. The staff has not shifted with it. So now there is a cultural disconnect. I hear that all the time. I heard it yesterday. So see, I'm saying to you, thank you, Finch. So I'm saying to you, it's the same thing. If you coming to me for an interview, I want you to talk to me about the shifting demographics of the student body and how you're going to impact that. But right now, I'm not even on your impact. Right now, I'm on if you even know about it. Are you aware that this community did not look like this 10 years ago? That's what I want to know. Are you aware that this community did not look like this 20 years ago? That's what I want to know. See, I want to see, have you done your homework and you understand that, because that shifting in demographics has implications for everything about that school. It matters. Y'all, I'm dropping bombs here. Hit that share button, hit that retweet button. Let some frustrated, disgusted, disappointed assistant principal that's been bugging you about the fact that they can't get a job say, you know, Principal Kafele on here now. He's giving you what you need. So if you're watching something on TV or you getting ready to play outside or shovel if it's snowing in your region or hang outside, turn your phone on while you do that, so that you can get some of this information and stop calling me belly aching about the fact that you can't get a job. Maybe it's because you don't interview well and you need to be on here listening to this man, right? So here we go. Enrollment. Talk to me about the enrollment. Like, how many students in the building? I mean, and it's a lot of people that go on. I know this because I people talk, they chatter, and they, man, the person didn't even know how many students I had. Yeah, so that's not who you want. You don't want that person. So I'm telling you right now, because y'all checked in for this information, you're not getting that job. You walk in there. So what do you know about our enrollment? Well, I'm not really sure. like you prepared to talk about equity, right? You prepared to talk about instructional leadership. You prepared to talk about climate and culture, but the superintendent threw a curveball at you and said, "Talk to me about my enrollment." It's like, y'all ever watch the Honeymooners and with the $99,000 answer and when Ed Norton kept playing Swanee River. Right, and Ed and what's his name, Ralph, had learned all them songs, but he didn't learn that Swanee River. Y'all know that one, right? So that's like, so that was the first song they played on that episode. That's my favorite one. And Ralph was like, they said, "Who wrote that?" He's like, Ed Norton. So I'm saying to you, you walk in there, you thorough on your equity conversation, you thorough on your instructional leadership, you thorough on your climate and culture, you thorough on everything, and they say, "Tell me about my enrollment." Ed Norton. See, you got to know your stuff. That's what I'm saying, right? So don't just think it's going to be the obvious. It might not be the obvious. It might be something else, right? Let me keep it moving. Hit that share button, y'all. I see it's a lot of people on here, but I want more than that, right? So here we go. The enrollment. And within that is that enrollment transient, right? You got to know that. Because if there's a transient student population, that has implications for everything. See that means you don't have a stable population of students, and the district is feeling that. They're feeling that because they don't have that stability. It's students coming. It's a revolving door. Students coming and students going. I hated those days. I remember them vividly. You fall in love with students. You know, you bonding with students, and then here they come Monday morning, "Mr. Kafele, we're leaving." I'm like, "Mom, is there anything I could do for your son to stay here?" Nothing you could do except unless you want to adopt them, right? So they moving, and here comes some new one. and he don't know the culture. She doesn't know the culture. So now the new one coming in with this mindset from this other place that was dysfunctional. And then you bringing that stuff in my building. It's like we starting over every week. We starting over with the new youngster, starting over with the new youngster. Then the one that got it is going, right? In the interview, you got to understand that. I'm the superintendent. So candidate, talk to me about my enrollment here. You better, if there's a transient population in that school and it's an urban school, chances are there is, you better be able to speak intelligently about that. So y'all weren't even expecting this kind of stuff this morning. You expecting, textbook stuff. Now we going beyond textbook, right? Let me keep it going. I'm still on number 2, y'all. I told you I'm gonna be on here for a while. Man, 11:41, I'm on number 2. This might be a 3-hour session, man. Someone said, you could stay on there for 3 hours. I'm going to be gone, right? I watched the video. Now, y'all stay with me live. Here we go. So we're still in number 2, letter A, right? So I said enrollment next, discipline data. What you know about the discipline in that school? What do you know about behaviors in that school? What do you know about the reputation of that school as it relates to behavior? What do you know about what the folks in the community and in the neighborhood are talking? What do you know? You got to know that. That's a part of your preparation. Appreciate you, Hassan. That's a part of your preparation. You got to do your homework. Don't sit in there talking about, I really don't know. No, that I don't know ain't gonna work at the interview. See, you know how you could be in a meeting with someone and I don't know, but I will get back to you. Yeah, you could do that in other genres, but not in the interview. You better, Parliament Funkadelic, you better fake the funk, right? But you got to do your homework. And I'm giving you things that you need to investigate. So discipline data, know that, right? I said I wasn't going to tell you where to find it, but the report cards of these schools and districts, it's all there. It's online. Next, programs. So in other words, what you know about what's happening in that school? Programs. What do you know? Right? Well, I don't work here yet, so I don't know what's happening. Oh, okay. Oh man, it was really nice meeting you. I'll be in touch. Right? Listen, if you know the school you're interviewing for, you better do that research online, or you better wait outside when them teachers are coming out and have a conversation. You better talk to somebody and find out what's happening in that school. What kind of programs do they have there? Is it a magnet school? And if it is, what's the magnet? What's the theme? Right? You got to know the school as if you built it. You got to know the school as if you were leading it. You got to know it, the programs. Next, here's a big one, staff turnover. Man. See, we talked about transient student populations, but what about staff turnover? Is that a problem? Right? And I'll couple staff turnover with administrative turnover. You could be interviewing at a school that over the past 10 years had 8 principals. That happens. That is common. So you're interviewing with a school and every year is a new principal there. Every so many years is a new principal there. You need to know that, because that has deep implications for the morale of that school. Those teachers, their heads are spinning. Like, oh my God, every year is a new person. But it's not just a new person, but it's a new philosophy. It's a new mission. It's a new way of doing things. And it might be a new leader that hasn't done anything. That could really have your head spinning. So now you got somebody in there that's brand new that may be experimenting. And here you got to just endure and withstand this constant flow of administrative changes. At that interview, that question might come up. What do you know about the past 5 years, 10 years of administrative changes in this school? You got to do your homework. See? Let's keep moving. I'm still on number 2A. Last one, though. Knowledge of the community. Knowledge of the community. What you know about that neighborhood? I don't mean some stereotypes and generalizations. I don't mean that. I don't mean that is economically disadvantaged. I mean that's part of it, but I want you to go deeper than that. I want you to tell me what you know about the community that's producing these children. I'm the superintendent. Now, I'm not speaking for America's superintendent. In fact, I'm not even a superintendent. Some superintendent might say to me, watch this video and say, man, he expecting too much. Listen, I'm telling you, I know definitively, if I desire, if God hits me one night and says, my son, I need you to be a superintendent, because that could happen one night. We don't know. And then I'm going to get a job. I didn't say I'm going to apply. I'm going to get a job. And what you're hearing of me today, this is who I'm going to be. So I'm not trying to be somebody else. This is who I'm going to be. If I'm on the side of the desk interviewing a principal that's going to work for me, you're going to come in here knowing some things. I don't expect you. I may not need you to be an experienced principal. I can take you as a rookie and take you under my arm, but I want to see that you did your homework. In other words, I want to see that you were hungry, that you wanted this job, and you did the necessary, the requisite homework in order for me to be impressed with you. That's what we're talking about here today. That was 2A. Let me go to 2B. The question in number 2 again, what do I know about the school I'm interviewing for? 2B says you can't interview generically. See that little generic interview? That's not going to work. The specificity, as we've been talking about up to this point. And 2C, you must be able to demonstrate that you really want this job. That has to come across, and not come across because you need it financially. If that's what's coming across, then I don't need you. I don't want you. I need it to come across that this person really wants this job because this person is interviewing feels that this is the place, the role, the position for this person, that you on a mission to elevate the achievement levels, the lives of children that are in this school, and to help grow the teachers that are a part of this school, the entire staff for that matter, right? So keep that in mind. It's 11:47 and I'm on number 3. Y'all hang with me. Here we go. I'm gonna keep it moving though. I'm gonna keep it moving. Keep dropping them comments, y'all. You know, I spend my whole afternoon just reading them. Sometimes y'all leave like over 1,000 comments, sitting here for all day, just reading comments. That's what I do on 4 different platforms. So don't think that I don't see them, because I do. All right, number 3. What is instructional leadership? Now that's one you'll probably go in there prepared for. What is instructional leadership? And I added like a ... And why does it matter? Right? What is instructional leadership? ... And why does it matter? So I broke this up into 3 sections because I got a few things to say about instructional leadership. So for this first question, letter A, I'm saying this is your make or break. As critical as the previous discussion was, this is your make or break. Because at the end of the day, the children are in school to learn. And whether or not they learned and how much they learn is measured by achievement, right? So now I need to see what role you see yourself playing toward ensuring that young people are learning at a high level. I have to see that. So therefore, I'm asking you, what is instructional leadership and why does it matter? I need you to be able, and again, for those of you that checked in late, I'm not giving you the questions that the superintendent's going to ask. I'm giving you thoughts to consider as you prepare for the interview. I don't know what the superintendent's going to ask you, but I'm making certain assumptions that these thoughts that I want you to consider are consistent with many, if not all, of the questions that will come your way, right? So I just want to draw that line of demarcation. I'm not giving you the answers, right? I'm not giving you the questions because I don't know the questions. I'm giving you things to think about as you prepare for the process of being ready for that interview, right? So with that said, that first question, number 3, what is instructional leadership and why does it matter? This can make you or break you. Just your answer in that. You could be proficient in everything else they ask you, but if you come up empty or short on the instructional leadership conversation, might not be for you, right? You got to be able to answer that, right? So I'm saying that to say this. Letter B, you must be able to speak intelligently about the pre-observation conference, the post-observation conference, and the observation itself. See, you got to be able to speak intelligently about that. And that's inclusive of, well, what I was getting ready to say is another C, so let me not even do it. You got to be able to speak intelligently about what that pre-observation conference will entail, what that post-observation conference will entail, and what that observation will entail. Now, I'll tell all of you, I don't have to go into detail because this academy, this is week 45. All in previous 44 weeks and this book, all the details in here, all the details in those hour-long videos. So you just look at the titles and go back and look at what I said about that. I don't have to reiterate that here. I'm just telling you what to think about here. But in terms of the detail, go back to the previous videos. That's why they're made. That's why I made them, right? So with letter C, I'm saying you must be able to explain how you will make time to be an instructional leader. So how are you going to even make time to do this? See, that matters because see, you could articulate all you want what the pre-observation conference is about, how often that I will have it, why I'm going to have it, the observation, what I'll be looking for as a result of the conversation, the discussion I had with the teacher, the immediate feedback relative to the post-observation conference, its purpose, why, and the follow through to the next time that we meet. You can have that down to a science. But as superintendent, I'm going to ask you how you're going to make time to do that, particularly if the discipline data says we got discipline issues. I'm going to ask you how you're going to make time to do that. Now, again, you look at the previous videos for my thoughts on that. That's not the purpose of this video. But I'm saying to you, you got to be prepared to answer that. Hey, because now you sold yourself on the pre and post and the observation, but now I'm superintendent. Okay, that sounds really good. I'm impressed. But how are you going to make time for that? You can't. No, you got to have your answer, right? So consider that. Number 4, how effective of an instructional leader was I during my assistant principalship? How effective was I as an instructional leader during my assistant principalship? And I wrote here in capital letters, bold font. I said, letter A, be honest. Be honest. Here's why. Let's say that you were in a situation where, because of the leader, your principal, and you just never was given that opportunity to be the instructional leader that you learned about in graduate school, that you learned about watching these videos, and you couldn't be that person. Well, don't go in there making up stuff. Because when they check, when they start doing reference checks, they're going to find out. But I also wrote in capital letters, don't throw your previous principal or your current principal. Don't throw that person under the bus because it can come back and haunt you. Do not be critical, regardless of the situation. Don't point blame at the previous, or in this case, current principal. Don't do that, because at some point they may call this person, or that person might know that principal, might be their friend. You don't know. So you never go into an interview attacking people that you work for, that you work with, whatever it is, as upset about them as you may be. You do not go on an interview attacking other people, because it speaks about your own character. So you want to leave that alone. You're just being honest. Well, so not the principal made me, but I was kind of just overwhelmed with doing so much of, this and that, but I still understood the principles of instructional leadership. And I did get to engage in it, particularly during the evaluation season. And you can talk about how productive that may have been for you, right? So if you were effective, then the question becomes for letter B, number 4, letter B, what made you effective? Talk to me. Tell me. What made you effective as an instructional leader? And if you were not effective, or if you could not be optimally effective, tell me why. Talk to me. Just be honest, right? Honest without undermining yourself. right? And honest to the extent that you can talk intelligently how you would build upon that as a principal, right? But the last thing you want to do is go in there and start lying. The last thing you want to do is go in there and overinflate, because because it's not hard to find out about anybody, right? It's you know, this is 2021, and we could find out everything we need to find out about everybody, right? So you don't want to overinflate who you are. You want to come across as someone who's honest, someone that superintendent can trust. Because if you lying in his interview, then he knows you're going to be lying beyond the interview, right? So it matters. Let me keep it moving. I'm on number 5, y'all. I'm trying to get there. I'm going all the way 25, right? How will my instructional leadership raise the achievement level? See, that's why I didn't use this in the beginning. How will my instructional leadership raise the achievement levels in the school that I am interviewing for? This is another one of those make or breaks. See, listen, candidate. Y'all on here watching, because you got them interviews coming. Some of you may not have an interview coming right away, but you're gonna store this for when it does come. See, I'm the superintendent. I got my own pressures. I got board pressures, meaning board members. I got Board of Education pressures. I got mayor pressures. I got other levels of government pressures. I got State Department of Education pressures. I got community pressures, right? I got clergy pressures. I got business community pressures. I got pressures coming from all. I'm the superintendent. I got everybody watching me. I'm the superintendent of schools. So the pressures are coming from all levels. They could even come from the federal government. So I'm sitting in an interviewing you. Yeah, you seem like a nice person. Yeah, you seem like someone I could get along with. But I have to know, hear me somebody, because I don't know if you hear me. I have to know that if I hire you, you're going to make my life better. As Marina just said, you're going to add value to my life. Now, listen, let me tell you something. I'm going to personalize this. I'm not talking about the school yet. I'm not talking about the district yet. I'm talking about me right now. I want to keep this as real world as I can. So I don't know that there's some superintendent in the world that has completely minimized him or herself, and it's just the district. At some point, you got to look at you too, because you're going to wear certain stresses. You're going to have your own certain anxiety. So as much as you want to, it's noble that it's all about the school. It's all about the children. Well, of course, that's obvious. But you're a human being. I'm talking about the superintendent now. You're a human being. So you too are emotionally impacted by especially the pressure. And I might add, that pressure that I just talked about, it makes its way into newspapers. It makes its way onto the internet, whether it be in terms of the press or the social media. It makes its way onto the television broadcast, the radio broadcast. So you can't tell me that superintendent is not a human being and is not going to feel that. He going to feel it. She going to feel it. So therefore, what I'm saying to you, yeah, I'm asking you these questions relative to the district, but I'm also asking you these questions relative to myself. If no other superintendent admits that, I'm going to speak it for him, right? How is hiring you, as it relates to this question, how effective of an instructional leader? No, number 5, how will my instructional leadership raise the achievement levels in the school I'm interviewing for? And I'm sitting there interviewing you, and I am well aware of the pressures on me coming from every direction imaginable, which includes the press and social media. Well, when I'm looking at you in your eyes, I'm trying to gauge, are you going to add value to my life? Are you going to make my life that much less complicated? Is there going to be something about you in that principal space that life improves for me personally? Yeah, I'm saying it. Now, of course, I mean the same thing for the school. So if somebody on here, I don't like what he just said. No, that's because you have not examined the human component. You're just looking at the professional. But there's a human element here, right? And if that superintendent is so overwhelmed by the pressures, that superintendent cannot be optimally effective as a superintendent because he got too much crap coming at him from all different directions. So therefore, when I'm interviewing you, principal candidate, I need to know before I say I'm going to recommend you to that board for you to be hired. I need to feel definitively confident that by you being in this position, I'm going to see change in achievement for the youngsters in that school. I need to feel that. Now, of course, I'm going to coach you. Of course, I'm going to have others to coach you. Of course, I'm going to tuck you under my arm. Of course, I'm going to take care of you, but I'm going to expect you to do your role. I'm going to hold you accountable for everything that you said in that interview. Make no mistake about it. So now let's pause it for a second, y'all. Yeah, it's 12 o'clock and I'm only on number 5. I told you it's going to be a long one. Hey, I see some people leaving too. They like, yo, he think I'm staying on this thing all day. Yeah, maybe you don't want the job. I don't know. Maybe you was just playing. You know, I know how that works. Maybe you were playing. I kind of want the job, but I don't want all this stuff. Like, I'm just going to try to, like my smile. They tell me I got a nice smile, right? So I'm just going to use my smile, right? No, okay, you go ahead and try that. See how far that gets you, right? So now I'm saying, you know, I'm being facetious, y'all, but see that accountability, right? Let's keep moving. Hit that share button because them people on the West Coast, they starting to wake up now. What I learned over the course of the 45 weeks, it's the West Coast folks, they start checking in like when I'm checking out, right? So hit that share button. Them West Coast folks, they waking up now. It's early for them. So here we go. Number 5, I'm still on. How will my instructional leadership raise the achievement levels in the school I'm interviewing for? Letter A, how will I utilize my APs and other key leaders? Oh man, how you going to use your assistant principals? Synergy. 1 + 1 = 3, not 2. Synergy. How you going to use them? Because see, if you relegate them to, you know, they do all the dirty work. They rolling up their sleeves, doing discipline, you know, all inventory, teacher supplies, you know, all that kind of stuff. No. If they evaluate staff, they too must be instructional leaders. And I'm looking for you in that interview to convince me of how you're going to use the AP productively toward being a proficient instructional leader. That matters, right? Let me keep moving. Letter B under number 5. How are you going to use technology? In what way will technology be an asset to the work, to your role as instructional leader? Right. So I want you to be able to talk intelligently about technology as well. Number 6, we moving. How would my leadership ensure equity for all the learners? Woo. You got students coming in, you know, that whatever hand they were dealt at birth, that's the hand they're going to play. They're coming in all different levels, all different experiential backgrounds, all different preparations for success in school from home. What role will equity play in your leadership? Letter A for number 6, how will you go about instilling in your staff an equity mindset? See, it's one thing we talk about equity practices. Equitable practices. But it's another thing to talk about on top of the equitable practices, bringing an equity mindset to the work every day. How will you instill that in your staff? And I might even add to that, do you bring an equity mindset? And if you do, explain to me what that looks like. I may want you to talk about that. I may want to spend the bulk of the interview just talking about equity because it's so critical. So how would your leadership ensure equity for all learners in that school? All of them. So letter A was instilling the equity mindset in staff. Letter B, engaging staff in the difficult, uncomfortable conversations about race, gender, and socioeconomic status, inclusive of examining one's own biases. So when I talk about number 6, how would you ensure equity for all the learners? I'm saying to you, talk to me. I'm superintendent. Talk to me about how you would go about, because see, the equity conversation is a messy conversation. It's a difficult conversation Because you can't talk equity without talking race. You can't talk equity without talking socioeconomic. You can't pretend that doesn't exist. You can't pretend it. You can't pretend that that's over there and equity here is just differences in terms of reading skills, math skills, all that. No. Race, socioeconomic, all that plays a part. It all plays a role. And you have to have the audacity to have the discussion with staff. So as superintendent, I want to test your backbone now. See, as superintendent, I want to test your spine now. So I'm going to ask you the question, hey, candidate, talk to me about how you would go about engaging staff in the difficult, uncomfortable, sensitive conversations about race, about gender, about socioeconomic status, and examining their own biases within the context of equity, right? Because I want to hear what's on your mind, and I want to hear how you express yourself, right? Because see, if you come in here saying, well, I'm just going to go at them, right? I mean, you're not going to do this gesture. Well, I'm just going to go at them. I'm just going to take the deep dive. In my mind, I'm going to say, he's going to kill the morale at that school if there is morale there. I need to see what I need to hear, and this could be costing somebody a job. I need to hear how you're going to approach this thing sensitively. I need to hear how you're going to use your people skills. Because if you tell me with a diverse staff, with people on the left, people on the right, and everybody in between, and then you're going to just go in there, well, I'm just going to go in there and hit them. Boom. I'm just going to go in there. No. That sounds good in the street. Like that's a good parking lot conversation. That's a good conversation, on social media. Yeah. I'm just gonna go out. Bam. But in terms of school culture, right? In terms of maintaining and sustaining morale of a school, no, we ain't going like that. People skills. See, we gotta meet people where they are and then grow them in the process, right? I need to hear that. I don't need how you gonna be forthright. I don't need that because I know that now I'm gonna have a problem with morale in that building. I know I'm gonna have a problem with unnecessary tension in that building. I know I'm gonna have a problem with turnover in that building. Right? I'm gonna have a problem with staff attendance in that building because now there's unnecessary preventable friction and tension in that building, which could be avoided if the leadership uses proper people skills toward building people to be able to have the difficult conversation, right? So that's letter B. Letter C. The question, how would my leadership ensure equity for all learners? And letter C is sustain professional development on equity. I would ask you the question, talk to me about how you would ensure that your staff is receiving sustained professional development in the area of equity. Right? Equity and access. I would want you to talk to me about that. Let me keep moving, y'all. I'm getting there. Number 7. Let me move quick. How would my leadership ensure culturally responsive relations in the classroom along with culturally relevant teaching and learning? That was a long one. I'm going to read it again. How would my leadership ensure culturally responsive relations in the classroom along with culturally relevant teaching and learning? Man, that's a mouthful there. And, previous videos, we did the detail, the specificity. So I'm not going to do that here. I broke this up into 3 sections. Letter A, considering who's in the classroom, right? That's number 1. If we're going to look at every youngster as being the same, so they all learn alike, they all look alike, they all think alike, they're all alike, right? And I don't see race, I don't see ethnicity, I don't see culture, I don't see gender differences, I don't see socioeconomic, I don't see that. All I see is the student. Then I'm gonna show you a failing class. I'm gonna show you a class with a segment of students who are consistent with that mindset of a teacher, but I'm gonna show you a bulk of students who are going to underperform. So I would want to know in that interview, talk to me, leader, about how you ensure that culturally responsive practices are occurring and culturally relevant practices are occurring where youngsters get to see themselves in instruction on a sustained basis, on a regular basis. Learning is relevant, right? They see themselves. They see that this is applicable to my life beyond the dismissal bell, beyond the dismissal of the class or dismissal for the day, that this has relevance to who I am. I want to hear that from you, leader, because I'm hiring you to lead my school. And I want to see that you understand the significance of being culturally responsive and culturally relevant, that you're going to be able to bring that approach to the staff in that building, which ultimately trickles down to the students. So that was letter A. Letter B, ensuring teaching and learning reflects students in the classroom, which I went on and spoke on without giving you the letter. And letter C, enhancing the knowledge base of staff. So now not only are you desirous of having culturally relevant practices in the classroom and cultural responsiveness, but here I'm saying you're going to convey it to staff. So you're a professional developer, you're a teacher. So because you have to enhance their knowledge base. You can't be the only one in the building that has this particular understanding. There's got to be an entire staff in the building that has this understanding. And the main teacher is not going to be the professional, the consultant, like myself that I do for a living. So not the consultant that you bring in to train it, but the main teacher, the main professional developer is going to be you. And that needs to come across in that interview. You need to be able to explain that, not in terms of just, well, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be that woman. No, not just that, but explain how. Just paint these word pictures for me so I can see it happening. I see it. I see you as that person. I see you leading that staff meeting. I see you leading that professional development session, helping teachers to shift, helping them to transition to the extent that they understand what we mean by being culturally responsive relative to our relationships with young people and culturally relevant in terms of the pedagogy that we deliver on a regular basis, right? Number 8, man, we getting there, y'all. Y'all hanging there with me. What role would professional development play for staff in my leadership? And by the way, I'm not doing this in 2 and 3 parts, right? If this video takes me 3 hours and I'm the only one on here, I'm still going to do it. It's going to be one video. I just want this to be one. I don't want a part 1, 2, and 3 for this one. I just want one video. So here, number 8, what role would professional development play in my leadership, right? In terms of for staff. So I broke this up into 3 sections. Number 1, having a professional development mindset and approach as a leader. I need you to convey that to me, right? I need you to convey that to, I'm the superintendent. I need you to be able to convey to me that you've got a professional development mindset, right? And see, I keep using that word mindset. You remember growth mindset. Well, I took that and started talking about the equity mindset and the social justice educator mindset, right? And here I'm talking about the professional development mindset. So you've got this mindset, this attitude that my teachers need ongoing, sustained, protracted professional development, professional growth, professional learning. So I'm saying in letter A, having that professional development mindset and approach as a leader. But letter B, professional development should be consistent with your instructional leadership with individual teachers. So in other words, you've got this collegial relationship with your staff. And you're working with them on a sustained basis. Well, the professional development should be a natural outgrowth of that collegial relationship. Not you guys are honing in on this skill, this practice, that practice, and then you throw a curveball and the PD is something way over here. I mean, that's going to happen, but first and foremost, I want the PD to be consistent with those areas that you have mutually agreed that these are areas that need to improve. Why are we going to have these discussions on here's some of the deficiencies I see in class, and then you sending them to a workshop that has nothing to do with that? So let's make sure that the PD, in terms of your PD mindset, is consistent with your instructional leadership mindset, right? Man, let's keep it moving. Where am I? I don't even know where I am on the page. Here, number 8, letter C. You too are a professional developer. So yes, you got supervisors coming into the building. Yes, you have directors coming into the building. Yes, you have consultants like myself coming into the building. But never abdicate your role as professional developer. That matters too. And you need to be able to convince me in that interview that that's who you are. Number 9, What components would I put in place toward ensuring student motivation? Oh, man. Students got to be inspired. Students got to be hyped. What components would you put in place toward ensuring student motivation? I got 4 sections here. Letter A, how would you set the tone in the morning, for example? See, for me, a lot of you know my story. You know, I never started a school day. I wish if I got any former students on here now, because usually I do have at least 1 or 2 on here. If any of my former students on here, check in here, because they'll tell you, no day starts without my message. No day. There'll be no teaching and learning until my message is delivered. Or if I have some former staff members on here, you know, there'll be no instruction until I've got my message, because my message is going to lay a foundation. My message is going to set a tone. My message is going to speak to the heart and soul of them young people. I'm just using that in the morning as one of my vehicles to keep young people inspired, to keep young people motivated, to keep young people feeling empowered. So letter A, how would you set the tone in the morning, for example? Letter B, the environment for learning. Man, now that's a whole, that's a whole 6-hour session. We ain't gonna get deep into that. Read my book, Closing the Attitude Gap, right? In fact, I'll even show you. Read this when I talk about the environment for learning. See, that environment matters. And I may ask you in an interview, talk to me about how you make that environment conducive to the young people. There's one of the former staff right there to make it conducive to the young people having the willingness to want to soar. We got my man Otto Bakari Chase on here. He said there was a morning and closing. That's right. It's not only the morning message, but I closed with a message. See, that matters, y'all. If you're not doing that, you got to do it. So the environment for learning, it matters. The relationships with students, not just your relationship, everybody in that building. Talk to me how you're going to ensure that the relationships in that building are cordial, that there's a sense of family in that building. I remember some days when I became a high school principal, I throw on some Sister Sledge, We Are Family. I put that on the PA system, y'all. That's how I used to get down, right? So before my message, the students say, and now we will have words from our principal, Principal Kafele. Then I hit that play button. We are family. I ain't gonna sing the rest, right? So I had that playing, and they rocking, man, because that's not their generation, but they dancing anyway. Sometimes I throw on some gospel, right? I pulled that off. I don't know how I did, but I did, right? And they rocking up there, man. And because I'm building family, I'm setting the tone, I'm laying a foundation, and now we ready to get it going, y'all. See, let me tell you something. As leader, I got my fist up. You have power. You have a certain power that you got to use. And part of that power, let's pretend this is a microphone. That mic, it's my power. I told y'all several months ago, I told you what Barry Gordy told young Michael Jackson. Young Michael Jackson, he said, your mic is your hammer. Don't you ever relinquish your hammer. That's your hammer. He's saying that's your tool. Don't give up your mic. I never gave up my mic because I knew the power in my mic. I knew that. There's power in that mic. Are you using the mic? Well, in the interview, let that superintendent know. I'm using that instrument. I'm using that. See? Oh, yeah, family reunion. That's the other one. Thank you for that, Jesus. So let me keep it moving. Letter D in number 9. Overall positive climate and culture. Right? So that goes hand in glove with when I said the environment for learning. I break it down right in here. Closing the attitude gap. I'm saying to you, man, you got to be able to talk about that climate and culture. But matter of fact, let me couple that with number 10. Number 10, what is it about my leadership that will create a school climate and culture conducive to high academic performance, right? Again, what is it about my leadership that will create a school climate and school culture that's conducive to high academic performance? That's got to come across. That's got to come across. But see, when I say climate, like, I told you guys before, I create a lot of definitions in my, it's just what I do. We're all who we are. And when I don't see what I'm looking for, I say, well, I'm going to create it myself. Like I didn't see the equity mindset teacher definition. I created it. I didn't see the social justice education definition that I needed. I created it. Then I went and wrote a book about it. It comes out in May, the Equity and Social Justice Education 50. I wrote a book about it. I mean, that's what I do because I've been in this thing for a long time. So with climate, I said, man, I don't need all them definitions. I could reduce that to one word: mood. MOOD, the mood of the school. So I'm the superintendent. That's letter A, mood. So I'm the superintendent. Hey, candidate, talk to me about how you are going to set the mood at that school. How you going to set the mood? Like when I met my wife at a club back in 1984, May 4th, 1984 in New York City, a club called Bentley's. There's all people in there. They dancing, they yelling, they screaming, they getting high. And I see this young lady that I want to marry. I didn't know her. I never seen her in my life, but I knew I wanted to marry her. So I had to set the mood. Y'all hear me? So that I could talk to her in the midst of all that chaos. I had to set the mood. She up there listening and she rolling her eyes. I know it, right? So I had to set the mood, right? Because I needed her phone number. Because I knew once I got her number, I was in like Flynn. I knew that, right? So I just need to get her number. So I got her number, and now we've been together 36 years, married for 31. I just had to set the mood. Do you hear me? You got to set the mood. So when you're on that interview, you got to talk about how you set the mood for learning, set the mood for all the great things you want to accomplish in your school. Because if you go in there with the right program, you go in there with the right stuff, but the mood ain't right. You don't hear me. The mood ain't right. The mood is toxic. The mood is poisonous. So it's going to kill and destroy all that good stuff you brought into the building because the mood ain't right. You trying to do your thing in a toxic mood. You trying to do your thing in a toxic school environment. It doesn't work. So if I'm interviewing you for the job, talk to me about how you set the mood for a high-performing school, coupled with this other word, culture, which I gave the definition, lifestyle. One word. How are you going to create a lifestyle in that school that's conducive to young people coming in with a mindset that they have the will, they got the willingness to want to soar, regardless of whatever their circumstances may be. They just want it because they have that will, because the lifestyle is conducive to them having that will. And then letter C, under number 10, rules and consequences. What is it about my leadership that will create a school climate and culture conducive to high academic performance? Well, if you come to me talking about some rules and consequences, it's going to raise a red flag for me. I'm going to look at you sideways. Now, all superintendents will not. Some of them may be impressed with your little discipline program that you put together. But see, for me, I want you to talk more so about how you're going to create a climate and a culture that supersedes rules and consequences, right? That's what I want to hear. I keep putting myself in the role of superintendent. It could be some board members watching right now, and they're like, yo, I think I want Kafele as the superintendent. I'm going to call you after you finish this broadcast. I'm going to tell you no, right? So let me keep moving. Number 11. How will I maintain visibility for students, staff, and parents? Once again, and by the way, if it is a board member out there, you think I want to give up this life I'm living? I love this independent entrepreneur life of being able to just talk to my colleagues. Oh my God, I ain't trying to have all them pressures. I'm in the newspaper because somebody mad at me. Now you can have that, right? So let me keep going. Number 11, how will I maintain visibility for students, staff, and parents? I don't need to elaborate on that. I just want you to be able to talk about in that interview how folks are going to know that you are there. Now, those of you that checked in late, you like, don't Kafele, like you ask somebody, don't he start at 11 Eastern? And it's 12:24 Eastern. He's still going. Yeah, man. We talking about you guys getting these jobs rooted in everything we talked about here. Right? So I can't do this in an hour. And I ain't doing this in parts because some of y'all got to interview this week. I'm giving away the store right now, right? So you're just going to have to hang with me, right? So how will I maintain visibility for students, staff, and parents? I don't need to explain that now. We've been dealing with that for 44 weeks. I'm just saying you need to be able to express that or articulate that in that interview. Number 12, what does it mean to be an effective supervisor? Oh man, I got to sit back on that one. What's it mean to be an effective supervisor? What does that mean? Listen, I told you recently, my mentor during my administrative internship, he said, Kafele, when you become a teacher, the number one purpose of the supervision of your teachers will be their continued improvement in instruction. Their continued improvement in instruction. He said, that's my number one priority as a supervisor. He didn't talk about all the other aspects of supervision. He said, as a supervisor, your number one priority is the continued improvement of the pedagogy of the teachers that you're going to supervise. Man, I'm saying to you, I believe that. I embrace that. So I'm saying to you, the purpose of your supervision will be the continued improvement of instruction of your teachers. You need to be able to talk about that. That by hiring you, the teachers are going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. They're going to grow. See, they're going to grow. And by the way, y'all, I just had a thought. When D Nice started making them those dance doing that DJing when the pandemic started, some of y'all stayed on there for like 5 hours. I know you did. I saw your name. Some of y'all stayed on there for 5 hours. Well, I'm trying to show you how to get that job. Don't try to cut out on me in 2 hours. You dance for 5, but you won't get this information for 2. That's what you're saying to me? I hope not. Let's keep it moving. What does it mean to be an effective supervisor? Letter B, supervision of employees of all categories. You need to be able to talk to me not just about your supervision of a teacher, but you need to be able to talk to me about your supervision of all staff. I want to hear how you're going to supervise the security, how you're going to supervise the custodian, how you're going to supervise the paraprofessional, how you're going to supervise the secretary, the nurse, the librarian, the cafeteria workers, right? I want to know the child study team, if they're under your jurisdiction. They may not be, but if they are, I want to know how you're going to supervise them too. Because imagine your security is running amok. Imagine your custodial staff's running amok. Your secretarial staff, whomever. That matters too. How are you going to supervise these people? And imagine as an AP, you didn't supervise any of them. So you don't know in a concrete way what that looks like. Well, you better be able to convince me when it comes across, because I need to be able to be the superintendent and know that when I hire you, you got that building under control. And some of you, I want you to hear me. Some of you that write me, or some of you that didn't write me, but you wanted to write me to say that I did not get the job. Maybe it's because you didn't convince that superintendent that he could give you the keys to the front door. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe you didn't convince that superintendent that I can trust you to do everything that I've discussed thus far. And in this case, to be an effective supervisor of all the employees in the building. Maybe that confidence didn't. Maybe that person doesn't have that confidence in you. So you here you are, you calling me, you writing me, but Kafele, I did everything you said on the video, but I still can't get the job. You know, and it's funny with the AP video. There's like 1,000. I think it's like 1,600 people would put a thumbs up. And then it's like 32 people put a thumbs down, right? I pay attention to that because I said to myself, that's the 32 that didn't get the job. So they mad at me. So they rated the video as a negative, right? No, it ain't me. You didn't convince them that you're the one for the job. In this case, you didn't convince them that you would be an effective supervisor. That's got to come across. Let me keep going. Letter C under what does it mean to be an effective supervisor? Supervision of your APs. Oh, man. Assistant principals. That's not always an easy supervise either. That's not always easy. But you have to be able to show me, I'm superintendent. Show me that you will be able to supervise the assistant principals effectively. Show me that you will be able to grow the assistant principals effectively. Show me that you will be a solid, cohesive team, not 2, 3, 4, 5 warring individuals literally at war with one another. Show me that. Or the APs at war with you. Show me that, damn it, prove to me, because I need confidence. Prove to me that you're going to be that one that knows how to supervise and manage a team of assistant principals optimally. That's got to come across. You sitting in that interview and you stuttering, bye. Like, it was really nice talking to you. I call you. It's over. It's over, right? Let me keep moving. Letter D on number 12, last one. Always remember that employee behavior is a reflection of your leadership. Again, always remember that employee behavior is a reflection of your leadership. So if you see the employees are just out of control, that's you. And as the superintendent, I need you to convince me that you have complete control over that situation, that you know how to manage a building. See, we're not talking about leadership now in isolation. I'm also talking about management. And you can manage a building. You can manage staff. You can supervise staff to the point where they want to follow you as leader. Y'all hear how I made that, how I made that connection? That you're managing, you're supervising to the extent that they want to follow your lead. Convince me of that in that interview. That's another page done. We getting there, y'all. We are getting there. Number 13, how effective of a supervisor was I as an assistant principal? You know something? That question may come up. Hey, so superintendent sitting back talking to you, you know, and they usually kind of laid back, you know, they're trying to put you at ease. Talk to me about your supervision as assistant principal. Talk to me about that. You sitting there. Let me tell you what's on my notes. Letter A. I got C. I got three A, B, and C. Letter A in capital letters. Be honest. Be honest. That's what it says. Letter A. Be honest. How effective of supervisor was I as an assistant principal? I mean, if you were lousy, don't sit in there. And some of y'all take me literally on somebody. I was lousy. No, don't do that. I was horrible. I just wasn't good. No, that's not what you're gonna say. Right? You're gonna say you're gonna sell it, but you're gonna let them know. But I'm looking to grow in this area. Right? You're gonna let them know I'm looking to grow. But I feel that I was effective as a supervisor of my staff, but without you distorting and overinflating, right? But you be honest. Letter B, what made me effective? Okay, so now if you said you were effective, you may need to elaborate, right? I'm not saying that the superintendent's gonna say what made you effective. These are thoughts to consider. I'm giving you all these different possibilities that may come up in an interview. So therefore, for those of you that tuned in late, I'm not giving you the questions. I don't know the questions. I'm giving you things to think about that may be in the questioning. So now superintendent might say, what made you an effective supervisor? Okay, you got to answer that. You can't sit there like, and let me say this. Let me deviate for a second. Try not to sit there having to think about any of your answers. Like radio. I used to come on radio a lot. I'm not on radio much anymore. Folks forgot I existed, right? But back before the internet really took off, I used to do a lot of radio interviews. And one of the things I learned about radio is there can never be dead air. You know what dead air is? Dead air is when everybody just stops talking. That's a no in radio. It has to flow. It has to flow. It can't be dead air and quiet spaces. It's got to keep going. TV can have pauses. Radio can never have pauses. It's got to keep going. So during your interview, you can't sit there like they ask you a question. Talk to me about your effectiveness as an AP. Oh. Well, you know, like it was, and people look, people really talk like that, right? That's not gonna work. You got to be able to think on your toes. Think on your toes. So you got to anticipate the question. Anticipate that it's going to come up. So that was B, letter B, letter C. How could I have been more effective as a supervisor? Now your creativity comes in. See, so what would make you that much better? Number 14. We getting there. How will I keep my staff and administrative team motivated? How will I keep my staff and my administrative team motivated? I'm talking about that morale is high. Letter A, I got 4 here. Letter A work environment of respect. I don't even have to elaborate on these. They're self-explanatory. A work environment of respect. I want you to talk to me about how this environment that you want to lead, how will you bring about a work environment of respect? Letter B, a work environment where everyone is appreciated and valued. Someone might be thinking, but what about if I've got people who are not worthy of appreciation and being valued? Well, then you got some coaching to do. You got some building to do. And if I'm superintendent, I don't want to hear that about the ones that, oh man, I got some real bad people. It could be some real bad people in the no. That's where you come in, to make them real good people. See, that's your role as leader / coach, right? As leader / coach / cheerleader, right? Making bad people into good people, right? So again, that letter B was a work environment where everyone is appreciated and valued. Letter C, a work environment where all staff feel that they matter. So I'm superintendent. How would you go about ensuring that staff feel like they matter? See, I want to know. And letter D, a work environment of collaboration. Imagine everybody is a separate island unto themselves. They close their door and it's just about them. You're not going to have optimum performance there. You need to have a mindset of collaboration. And I need you to convince me in that interview that you're going to build a team, a network of individuals who collaborate with one another. Number 15. See, we getting there. Hang in there with me. I might even be able to get off of here by 1. I said the ad I wrote yesterday said 2 hours. I might be able to do that. What? Now I just got to remember what number I'm on. Okay, number 15. What role will the analysis of data play in my leadership? Oh man, data. What role will the analysis of data play in my leadership? See, you can't lead, you can't make emotional decisions on everything. Some things you have to because you don't have time to study data. But there are other things that the data's got to drive the decision, right? See, those of us that say the with a D, like the. So the decision, that's a tongue twister, right? So the decision, right? So I'm saying to you that data, you got to know data. As I said in previous weeks, your data is your story. It's like if you're reading a book, this a story, right? Well, your data is your story. And you can't run away from your story. You can't run away from your data. Your data is who you are. So I'm saying here, letter A, everything is data. How is it being utilized? Right? So what role will data play? You got to be able to convince the superintendent that data will be an inherent component of your leadership. Inherent. It's right there at the core. And you're not going to run away from it. You're going to utilize it. But you got to be convincing in that interview that in terms of how you're going to use data. And you may even want to give some examples in terms of in terms of preliminary assessments, right? Formative assessments. What you going to do with that data from those formative assessments that you administer to young people, right? So at letter A, everything is data and how it is being utilized. Letter B, your data is your story, as I just said. And letter C, how will I train my teachers to use data? Now, if you ever need like a course in data, you go to my man. I don't know if he's on here today or not, but you go to my man Sean Hurt, SHAWN, Hurt, HURT. He's on Facebook Live every Sunday night at 7 Eastern. He's the data guru. Just go to his page any Sunday night or scroll his page and watch all the previous videos. And watch all, because that's the data guy. Right? So Sean Hurt, Facebook, 7 o'clock Eastern time every Sunday night. That's one of my guys. When someone's like my guy, my person, I promote him. If you're not my person, I don't talk about you. Right? So you got to be one of mine. So now my wife, like, she kind of like saying without saying, why are you saying that? Right? Let me keep going, y'all. Let me keep going. Right? Because somebody out there in the world that I haven't talked about, they might take that wrong. Listen, forget I said that. I didn't say that, right? Number 16. What is my understanding of effective master scheduling? Woo! Y'all weren't expecting that one. What is my understanding of effective master scheduling? For the new people on here that like never been on my broadcast on Saturdays, I don't usually go this long. Now, I did during Black History Month because I had a lot to talk about. Some of y'all know that. I even stepped on some toes. Some people were saying, ouch, all that stuff. But normally we're an hour. Normally an hour. But this topic here, I got to go long on this one. So again, where am I at? Number 16. What is my understanding of effective master scheduling? Right? What is my understanding? See, I'm saying you can't lead a school when you don't know anything about scheduling. And here's the thing. I just wrote one letter for this one. Your academic program must be what drives the schedule, not the schedule driving the academic program. That's the main point today. See, if you find yourself, you got the program in your mind, and then you're trying to make these boxes work, right? Then what you've done is subjugated the academic program and made the schedule the priority. That's a no-no. And if that comes across in the interview that it's all about the schedule working as opposed to the academic program driving the schedule, then you and I got to talk about some things. You might not lose the job, the opportunity from that, but it's going to at least raise a flag with me that we need to have a little conversation, because if I'm thinking that I may want to hire you, then I got to change that thinking. Right? It's not about the, like you got this spatial mentality, right? So you're able to make these boxes work. No, I need you to make that program work, and then the boxes will follow. That's the sequence. Number 17, what is the evidence of my planning and organizational skills? Now, I don't need to go. Those of you that don't know, that are new to this broadcast, just go to the channel, Virtual AP Leadership Academy on YouTube. And I spent 5 weeks on planning and organization. So I don't need to go deep into that. All I need to say is daily and weekly leadership planning. You must be able to talk about that. Teachers write lesson plans. You can't go into a school and just walk in a building and just, okay, here we go. No. And I need you to be able to talk to the superintendent about how you go about planning your week, your day, your week, your month. Right? I need you to be able to talk about that. But I also need you to be able to talk about your systems of organization. What systems do you have to keep you organized? Because I know, because see, as superintendent, if I'm superintendent, chances are very good that I was once a principal. And if I was once, so therefore I know the principalship, and I know the demands on the principalship. So I know you have to be highly structured and highly organized. So I want that to come across in this interview that you are very structured and you're very organized. I need that to come across, because I'm not hiring an individual that's scattered, right? That's all over the map. I need someone who is very structured in their approach and someone who is very organized in what they do. You need to be able to convince me of that in that interview if I'm that superintendent asking you questions, right? We're almost done, y'all. Now, here's another big one. Number 18. How would my budgeting skills lend themselves to high academic performance? Oh, man. Budget. Now, as an AP, you may not have ever seen a budget, depending on the principal and the principal's comfort with training you to manage a budget. But I'm saying to you, you need to convince me. Your budgeting experience, if any, I need you to convince me of your skill set as it relates to budgeting. So I'm definitely going to ask you about that. A superintendent definitely is going to ask you about your background in budgeting. They're going to ask you how you develop and prioritize within your budget. Like what do you deem to be important, right? How do you cut off the fat? How do you maximize your expenditures? How is your budgeting benefiting the bottom line achievement in your school? How is that happening? So you got to be able to convince. That budgeting question, that's a big one. So make sure you do your research. Look here, y'all, we almost there. We on number 19. How would I maximize parental engagement? Matter of fact, I combined two. How would I maximize parental engagement and how would I maximize community engagement? So parental engagement, community engagement for parents. And I need like another hour just on this question. I'm just going to give you this real short. Letter A through D. Parents, weekly Zoom meetings. See, we got Zoom now. A year ago, I wouldn't have said that, but now I'm gonna meet with parents every week. A whole school. I've told you this before, so I don't need to get heavy. Go into the video that's called Parental Engagement, and you'll see it if you weren't with us that day. I'm going to have my parents on the screen every week, giving them updates, giving them feedback, and hearing from them. I'll be able to do something with this that I could not do with the brick and mortar. I can maximize parent engagement on this more so than I could in getting them to come perhaps miles to a school. Parenting workshops that I could do right on this computer. School updates that I can do right on this computer. Making parents feel welcome and a part of this school, that they belong, right on this computer. But community relations, man, I'm forging partnerships. I'm forging partnerships with businesses, with social service agencies, with the churches, with government officials, community activists or advocates. I'm forging partnerships with the community. But as an interviewee, a candidate, you need to be able to talk about that and why. See, talk about those partnerships you're going to form. Because if you don't, then it looks like you're just going to be by yourself. And there are assets out here. And not just entities, but individuals, not just the parents. So you need to be able to talk about that, right? As Helene said, all the stakeholders, right? You need to be able to talk about that because there's just a multiplicity of stakeholders that are out there, and they create synergy for you. But in this case, I'm not talking about your role in doing that. I'm talking about how you talk about it in an interview. That when the question arises, how are you going to tap into the human resources in the community, the human capital in the community, that you can speak intelligently about how you're going to do it across genres. Now, I'm just about at the end because these are short. Number 20. The rest of this is short, but it's important. Number 20. Now I'm gonna give you a question. These couple I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna give you the question. The superintendent is going to probably ask you this question. Tell me about your leadership strengths. Now that's number 20. Tell me about your leadership strengths. That's a hard word for me to pronounce. The most difficult word in the English language is strength plural. I got strength singular. I got that down pat. But you add an S to that bad boy, strengths. I can't say it. Forgive me. I cannot pronounce that word. Right? So I'll keep working on it though. So here's the thing. This is where, like, there's certain things that didn't come up in the interview. This is where you got to toot your own horn. Like, I got a lot of folks out here in the world. Some I know, some I don't know. And I coach them on promoting their business, their speaking business, promoting their school, promoting their books, promoting their product, whatever it is. And sometimes they'll say to me, but I'm not good at tooting my own horn. I said, okay, well, I can respect that. But if you don't toot your own horn, you don't expect that I'm going to toot it for you, do you? You don't expect someone else going to toot it for you. I don't care if you got like an agency. Nobody could do it like you. So the same thing works in the interview. You got to have the audacity to illuminate you. See, to accentuate you. You've got to sell you. And they may have asked questions that had nothing to do with the things you wanted to tell that superintendent or that committee, whatever it is, about you. They may not have given you that opportunity. Now, if you someone like me, see, I've done so many interviews in terms of job interviews, but I've also done a lot of interviews where people are interviewing me, like radio and internet radio and podcasts and all that stuff. So I think I have a skill in that, a talent in that. So they're asking me questions. A lot of times they'll say, we'll send you the questions in advance, right? They say that all the time. I'm thinking to myself, don't even bother. No need. Don't send me these questions because I have my own agenda. I shouldn't even be telling you this, but I'm gonna tell you because I want to make you understand. I want to make sure you understand this. They want to interview Principal Kafele. We'll send you the questions. I'm thinking to myself, don't bother, right? But they could send them. I don't read them because I got my own agenda. You interviewing me? That means we're gonna make this a win-win. You want to interview me, so you want to get something out of it in terms of your listeners listening to your podcast, but I want to get something out of it too. I'm giving up my time. So you can ask me your questions, but I'm going to take your question and I'm going to tweak it. I'm going to flip it. So now you might ask me a question about something. And I know I need to get this other point out, but you didn't ask me that question. Well, guess what? While I'm answering your question, I'm going to detour. And next thing you know, I'm going to be talking about my thing. See? That because if you want to interview me, it's not going to be just you win. I'm going to win too. So you going to win because you got the interview and you feel that I'm going to help your ratings. But I'm going to also get my points out there. You see what I'm saying? So, and some of those points might be, and don't forget to check out principalkafele.com, right? Or don't forget to come to this conference I'm gonna be speaking at in given state, city, whatever it is. So I'm gonna get my stuff out there. Right? Or it might be I'm talking about, and I turned this school around, right? Or whatever. I'm going to toot my horn. That's not being cocky. That's not being egotistical. That's being intelligent. So if somebody out there is watching right now or will see the recording later and I can't toot my own horn, I can't talk about myself, then you're not being intelligent. You're not being strategic. You have to have the audacity. Man, audacity is like a bold. That's too bold. Forget audacity. You have to have the willingness to talk about you because no one else may do it. So when they say number 20, what are your leadership? Here's that word again. Strengths. I can't say that. Right. But you know the word I'm saying. What are your leadership strengths? Right. You now sell yourself. Tell them what your strengths are. Wow, when I say it like loud like that, it comes out real clear. So when I say it low, it doesn't sound right. But strengths, it sounds right now, right? So I got to just yell. Somebody told me, I was talking, I was having a conversation the other day and we were talking about leadership. Strengths, right? So see now it works. I'll do it like that. So now, I know I'm crazy, y'all. Don't mind me, y'all. I'm tired, man. So listen, I got up at 7 o'clock and walked 3 miles, right? So listen. I'm saying to you, you got to sell yourself. Let them know what you got. Because they might not have asked you the questions that you needed to hear to tell them about some assets in your leadership that they didn't get to hear about. So toot your horn. Tell them about yourself. And don't be afraid. Don't think you being egotistical, because if you don't do it, that next person is, because the next person sitting in the waiting room waiting for your interview to end. Or the next person's online waiting to get on. And you got too much, you got pride. Oh, I can't talk about myself. Wow, that's my ego. I'm just not into that. I hear this from people all the time. I don't talk about myself. You know, that's just not what I do. Right? Okay, don't. But that one that's coming in after you, he gonna be talking about himself. And guess who gonna have the job? Guess who gets the higher salary? Guess who gets the enhanced lifestyle while you somewhere sitting around writing emails to people talking about they won't hire me? Yeah, because you didn't talk about yourself. Talk about yourself and let them know about you. Enough said. I think I made my point. I'm on the last page. I got 5 pages of notes. Number 21. I said in number 20, what are my leadership strengths? But watch this. They might say, what are your leadership weaknesses? Now, that's a tricky one. You see, if you're not going in there thinking, they ask you what's your leadership weaknesses, you sitting there undermining the whole process. Like you sold yourself. You sat up there, had an hour-long interview, and then they said, what's your weaknesses? You said, well, I'm just not really good at instructional leadership. I'm not really good at managing a budget. I'm not really good at supervising difficult people. I don't mean to laugh, y'all, but you gotta laugh at things sometime, right? Listen, that's don't go in there and say that, y'all. Let me get my serious look again. Right? Listen. You turn that into a win. You turn that question into a win. So they say, tell me about your leadership weaknesses. Watch this, y'all. Watch it. Let me be you. I'm you now. I'm the prince. I'm the candidate. Well, superintendent, like one of my weaknesses is it's like I just work long hours, right? Because I'm so committed to what I'm doing that I just put in extra time. It's, some people will refer to me as a workaholic, right? I just work so hard. And that's one of my weaknesses. I need to strike a better balance. See how I took a negative weaknesses and turned it into a positive? I'm able to take a question of my deficiency and say to the superintendent, well, I'm a hard worker. See, strategic. Let's try another one. Tell me about your weaknesses. Well, superintendent, it's like I'm so obsessed with success. And I'm trying to get to a point where it's not to the extent or degree of obsession, but I just really, I'm coming from my AP position, and then I was a teacher prior to, and as a teacher and as an assistant principal, I was obsessed with my students achieving at high levels, but I'm interpreting that as a weakness, right? That's a weakness of mine because I didn't sustain the kind of balance that I should have sustained. So what I'm going to do to rectify it, I'm going to make sure that I keep the intensity of wanting students to achieve at a high level, but I'm going to strike a better balance between the work and life outside of school, just in terms of my own mental and emotional health. Y'all see how I work that? Y'all see that? I turned that into a win. I turned that into talking about something that they didn't even ask me about. In other words, I turned it into talking about a leadership strength under the under the category of leadership weakness. See, strategic. Use this. I'm almost done. Number 22. Why would they want to hire you? Why do I want this? So the way I wrote it, why do I want this position and why should they hire me? You got to sell it now. You got to convince. This is your last chance. Your last chance. Why should I hire you? You got to toot that horn again. Toot, toot, toot. You got to play the long note on that one. Toot. You got to convince them. You that one. You the one. And here's why you should hire me. And you already know. See, here's the strategic part. You already know what they want from the previous questions. So now you just going to reflect back on what has been said and where their emphasis was, or his emphasis, or her emphasis, and you're going to zero in right there. See, it shows that you were listening. But then couple that with number 23. See, I'm almost there. I said 2 hours. We almost there. Number 23. This is huge. This is huge. What additional questions might you have? I'm giving you the question on this one. What additional questions might you have? Now, this another one that makes me kind of laugh. If I start laughing, don't mind me, y'all. What additional questions might you have? Now, the one that doesn't know better, here's what they say. Oh, I'm good. I don't have any other questions. I'm sorry. I'm good. You good? No, you're not. You were good until we got to that question. You're not good anymore. Listen, if you're on that interview and you've been paying attention, you better have questions. And let me put emphasis on that. You better have questions. Principal, man, I didn't get the job. I'm going to write Principal Kafele. Principal Kafele, I didn't get the job. I'm putting a thumbs down on your video, right? I didn't get the job. Sir, ma'am, when they asked you, did you have any questions? What did you say? Well, I didn't have any because he was thorough. Oh, I get it. See, listen. No, you have to have questions. So you're going to think on your feet. You're going to think back to the conversation and think, okay, what can I ask about something that the interviewer deemed important to show that I was really paying attention, to gain more information, to show him or her that I was attentive and listening. No, you better have some questions. You better have 1, 2, or 3 questions. Because it shows you're listening. It shows you care. It shows that you want to be there. It just demonstrates that you're somebody that I need to take into consideration. I love that. Sheikah Houston said, you bet not. Y'all don't mind me, man. When you sitting on the computer for 2 hours, man, you know, I'm tired, y'all. So I'm tired. I got up at 7, walked 3 miles, studied my notes for 2 hours, and been on here for 2. So don't you mind me. Let me keep moving. I see you, Travis. I didn't know you was on here today. Listen, I'm almost done, y'all. Number 24. What else would I like to share about my skills, qualifications, and experience? See, so I'm kind of putting that in what additional questions, but then I'm saying you got one more shot. See, you got shots at the end. So now another opportunity to toot, long note, toot. Oh, but I don't toot my horn. I don't talk about myself. Oh, but while you don't talk, don't write me no emails then. You don't talk about yourself? Who does? I know your wife probably talks about you, but she ain't in the interview. I know your husband probably talks about, oh man, you should see my wife. She's so thorough in what she does. Or you should see my spouse, my husband. Man, he's so thorough. He does all these things. But that person's not in the interview. It's only you. You got to talk that. What else would I like to share about my skills, qualifications, and experience? So that person might say, what more can you tell me about your skills, your qualifications, and your experience? What else can you tell me? Watch this, y'all. I think I pretty much told you everything. It's not going to happen, y'all. I don't think I laughed this hard in a long time. I'm making myself laugh, y'all. I don't think I've laughed like this in a long time, right? Before we end the interview, I'm superintendent now. Before we end, let me get in superintendent mode. So, before we end the interview, what else would you like to share with me about your skills, qualifications, and experience? What would you like to say to me? Well, I think I left it all on the table. I pretty much told you everything. You just blew it. It's like you was right there. You was right there. You were right there. And, oh, it's over, man. It's over. No, tell them. Let them know. They don't know everything about you. They just met you. You've been living this life for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and you told your whole story in 30 minutes. Are you kidding me? Let them know. Let them know. Question number 25. We here. How will I close the deal? That's the big one. How will I close the deal? In other words, imagine you go to the auto dealership, right? And you really didn't go there to buy a car. You just went to shop around, but the salesperson was so good that the person got you, they gave you like some coffee or soda and a cookie or a bag of chips, and you were like, man, I am starving. And you start eating it and drinking, and then they say, you want some more? Like, we got a vending machine, but because this is how they do. But I'll pay for it. What you want? Right? So they walk you back there, get you buying chips and cookies out the machine. They paying, and next thing you know, you drive in the car, taking a test drive, and you didn't even come there for the car. And now that the salesperson like, yeah, I got him, right? So they got you talking about yourself, right? So they got you tooting your horn, like, what you do for a living? Oh, I'm a principal. Oh, that must be a tough job. How do you do it? Oh no, it's good for me. I'm able to turn school around. Or so now it's time to get back to the office, and the person's still talking to you, but they were scared, right? Watch this here. Because see, some people have this quality. They could talk it all up. And then when it's time to close the deal, they get scared and don't ask you for the sale. There are people like that. They could get all the way to the finish line and be afraid, intimidated to ask for the sale. You could go all the way to the end of that interview, and you never asked for the job. You got to close the deal. You may not pose it as a question, but you might say as your parting words, Dr. So-and-so, Dr. Superintendent, I really want this job. I promise you, you give me that opportunity, I'm going to do big things. And don't oversell. Because see, if you oversell and you can't deliver what you sold, that's like buying any product out here or service. And you buy the product, you buy the service, and it doesn't do what they said it was going to do. What are you going to do? You're going to look for a refund. Well, if you oversell and you can't deliver, they're going to want a refund. See, so have the confidence. Tell them you're going to do what you believe you can do, but don't make yourself into Superman. Don't make yourself into the Black Panther, right? Don't make yourself into somebody that's supernatural. Be human, but be confident. And that which you feel you can do, inform them. Close the deal. I want this job. How soon before I hear back from you? Don't be scared to ask that question. How soon before I hear back from you? I really want this position because I envision what I'm able to do within a leadership capacity at this school. Close the deal. I'm done, y'all. That was 25. But you know what I did? I wrote on the bottom of my page the word closing. I got a conclusion here. The conclusion is a quick rundown of the first question. Am I ready for this interview? I'm gonna close with this. No commentary. Fully prepared, mentally prepared, emotionally prepared, the right attitude, confidence, belief, the right attire, the right appearance, years of previous experience. How does it benefit? And then I put here a note on the portfolio. A note on the portfolio. Let me just give you this note. I ain't gonna go long. I told you in a different context not too long ago, folks, I have no interest in a portfolio. And if I'm a superintendent, I don't want to see it. Now, I don't speak for all superintendents. Don't get me wrong. I have no interest in it. If I'm going to hire you, I'll know through the interview. Because my interview is going to be thorough. You may as well expect to spend a lot of time with me that day. And I'm going to be doing some questioning, but you're going to be doing a whole lot of talking. I don't need to flip through some binder seeing what you did. I will go on what you say. And I will call your principal and I will get a reference. And I may call some other people in the district and get a reference. But your binder, and I happen to know that there's a lot of folks that have no interest in that portfolio. Now, I'm not discouraging you. Don't hear me well. I am not discouraging you from creating a portfolio because everybody's different. But I am saying to you that if I was the one interviewing you, you could leave that thing at home. Come in there, but if you came in there empty-handed, then I'm gonna scratch my head when I look at you. You know, if I wish I had one right here, but it's not right here, it's somewhere. Oh, well, we'll pretend. Come in with your nice looking leather case, with your notepad, with your pen. In fact, have 3 pens in case the first 2 run out of ink. So you come in there with an impressive. Don't come in here with some messed up, worn out mess, because I'm gonna be judging you on that. You come in here with a nice leather folder with a notepad, and when you sit down, this is a calendar because I don't have my notepad near me. I'm not interviewing. When you sit down, open it up. Make sure you got no distractions for someone to see to judge you on. It's just a clean slate of a clean sheet of paper and your pen. Lay it right there. And then when you feel the need to write, you write. And when there's no need to write, you don't write. Right? But you make sure you come in there. That's all you need. You know, your resume is in there because they may want more copies, right? But outside, I don't need your portfolio. I don't care about that because that ain't gonna do nothing for me. I want to hear what you're gonna do for me. Talk to me. Right? So here I'm closing. We did 2 hours and some change, but with the announcements, really 2 hours. I'm proud of myself. I didn't have to go into 3. Watch this video a few times. If you're getting ready to go on an interview, then definitely watch it over the weekend and leading up to the interview. If you don't have one on the immediate horizon, keep it close to the vest. It's on my YouTube channel right now, Virtual AP Leadership Academy. It goes on there immediately. So study through it. Get past the humor and just get into the substance of the actually the humor makes my point, right? So no, don't get past that. The humor makes certain points, like you really gonna go in there like that, right? So no, don't get past the humor. Internalize the humor too, but study it. Study the whole channel. All of these sessions we've been doing, we're on 44, 45. We've done 44. Now we've done 45. Get your hands on the Assistant Principal 50. Get your hands on the Principal 50. Get your hands on the Aspiring Principal 50, which has interviewing techniques in addition. And get your hands on Is My School a Better School Because I Lead It? You can get them all on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, PrincipalCafe.com, the publisher, ASCD.org. And then the new one is coming in May at the Equity and Social Justice Education 50. Be on the lookout for that. So as a homework assignment, parting question I normally call it, but here I'm just going to say study this video. And I guess Kim Wilson, man, if you still here, Kim, I appreciate you, right? So I guess she's still here. So she'll have the notes posted and I'll repost them when she puts them on or at some point today. Next week, I don't know where I'm going yet. I have to think it through because I don't know where I'm going. Just tune in next week. It won't be 2 hours, right? So tune in next week. I'll be glad to see you. And we keeping this going 55 weeks, and then we're gonna switch gears at the end of 55 weeks, but I'll still be on, but we're gonna switch gears a little bit. Visit my website at principalcafe.com for all my professional development resources. They're all there, nothing to pay for, just all this free stuff, man. I give it away. I give away the store, blogs, interviews, articles, videos, audios. It's all there. Just go to the website. Like and follow Virtual AP Leadership Academy on Facebook. Subscribe to Virtual AP Leadership Academy on YouTube. And COVID, make sure that those of you who are seeing this now, we talking COVID. If you see this video like years from now, hopefully it'll be in our rearview mirror and what I'm about to say won't be relevant. But for now, 2021, put on that mask. Stay 6 feet apart. Wash your hands. Try to stay home. I'm not going to talk about no vaccine. That's on you. I don't want to get controversial. That's on you. But just do the things that you're supposed to do in order to stay safe so that we can get the young people back in school and you can be safe with them while you're in the school. Get your diet going right and get your exercise in. I told you I did 3 miles this morning, right? Get your exercise in. You're of no good to anybody if you're not healthy. So make sure your diet is right and you're getting in the exercise. With that said, y'all, I appreciate you hanging in there with your brother for 2 hours this afternoon now. I hope this was beneficial to your journey because that's the only reason I did it. So I hope that this is very helpful for you in terms of making your transition into the principalship or whatever direction you're going, because a lot of this is applicable in other areas, particularly also the teacher striving to be the AP. This is obviously applicable to you, but I got the AP video on the channel. So you can just go to the channel, Virtual AP Leadership Academy, and check that out as well. With that said, have a great week. Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet. Peace. Peace. Thumbs up. Cock that fist back with me and count the 3. 1, 2, 3. Bam! See you next Saturday at 11 o'clock Eastern. Share this video, please. Let those folks that weren't on know that it exists so that they can get some of this knowledge. And then I'll see you next week.